This is the beef tenderloin, aka the filet mignon. Known for its tenderness, it is the most expensive cut of beef you can buy. This is Costco. You love it, I love it, we all love Costco. And they sell beef tenderloins 3 different ways, and of course, I bought them all. Today I want to break down which one of these beef tenderloins is the best deal at Costco. The results may surprise you because I really don't know at this point who's gonna win, but I can't wait to find out. My name is Brad and I am the Butcher Wizard. On this channel, we cut meat, we cook meat, we eat meat. And I'm the guy who teaches you how to save a ton of money cutting meat yourself. And today I have my sights set on the most expensive steak, the beef tenderloin. Let's go. The first way we're gonna look at beef tenderloins at Costco are these pre-cut filet mignon steaks. This is the most common way that people buy fillets at Costco. The price comes in at $23.99 per pound, which will beat the brakes off of my local grocery store, which is topping out their fillets at $34.99 per pound. So if you're comparing Costco to your grocery store, Costco wins every time. But you never know what you're gonna get underneath this cellophane, right? You gotta pick out a package you think looks good or it's the right weight, so you think that's gonna be enough for your party. I'm gonna break open this package and we're gonna really examine what you get for our $23.99 per pound. All right, so now that we have them open, let's kind of like dissect the 4 steaks that we got in this package. So the first one is this big, huge honking one right here. But you know what? You got a lot of hangers on here. We got a lot of weird pieces that are just hanging off. They just basically took the whole tenderloin and sliced it like this. So this is gonna be really hard to make a steak out of. You're gonna have to cut this in half because this is a huge piece of meat. But then you have a little tiny one and a big huge fillet, so they aren't really consistent. You're gonna have to trim off this little scraggly piece right here, and I don't know, is that good? I don't know. That's gonna go to waste, I guess. Maybe a butcher snack. Remember I talked about that on another video. You could eat a little bit on the side. They'll fry it up in the butcher snack. Also, silver skin. Y'all know how I feel about silver skin. It is the bane of my existence. Every time I go to a grocery store and I film like what they're doing with their tenderloins, nobody is taking this off. This is inedible. This is like gonna be chewing like on a rubber band. So you can't have it. The next one, this is actually not a bad looking filet when you look at it this way, but it does have silver skin on it and it has this little side piece right here that's gonna fall off when you actually put it on the grill because it's not really attached to anything. It's attached by a fat layer that's gonna melt when you cook it and it's gonna fall off. Then we got this little guy right here, this little hangers on. This is like the little brother, I guess. I don't know what we're supposed to do with this one. This is like a 3-ounce filet. Good luck trying to cook all these at the same rate. This one is like a little tiny baby guy. I don't know. And then we have an end cut. So basically this is the first cut off of the head of the tenderloin. And so it's gonna be a little misshapen. When it actually grills up, it's gonna like sit really weird on the plate. It's not gonna be a nice flat fillet. So, and again, it has this little crevasse right here that has silver skin in here. So this, I mean, I don't know about this. This is not a great job as far as Costco goes with the way that they cut the beef tenderloins. This is all gonna require a little more trimming. We're gonna take the silver skin off. We're gonna have to cut these into usable steaks. So I don't quite think that we hit the mark on these cut steaks. Next, we're gonna go to the untrimmed tenderloins. That's the second way you can get a tenderloin at Costco. I'm gonna show you how much it is. I'm gonna show you how to trim it yourself and see what you get out of it. Let's go to that next. The next way that you can buy a beef tenderloin at Costco is to buy a whole, untrimmed tenderloin. If you really want to impress the guy at the meat counter, then you say, I would like a beef tenderloin Pismo. What that means, Pismo, P-S-M-O. It means peeled, side, muscle, on. You're gonna get a funny look from the butcher, but they're gonna say, oh, they know what they're talking about. Pismo, I got you, man. So at my local Costco, I purchased this whole beef tenderloin for $21.99 per pound. Full transparency, I am filming this video right before Thanksgiving, and I think the prices may have ticked up a little bit because I got this same beef tenderloin about 2 or 3 weeks ago for a video, and it was $18.99 a pound. Remember, prices fluctuate through the time of year and with the place you are in the country. So this is what I got it for. You may be less expensive or more expensive. If so, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you can get your beef for in your area. A quick reminder to make sure you stay to the end of the video, because Costco is now offering pre-trimmed tenderloins. You can get a whole tenderloin that's already trimmed. It's more expensive per pound, but I really want to find out, is it less expensive to get this and do it yourself or get the pre-trimmed one? So that's where the real video is. That's where the real information is going to be, because I don't really know what's going to happen. So we're going to find out together. And so stay with me on that, and I'm going to show you that after we go ahead and break down this tenderloin. So stay with us. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take the side muscle off. It's called the chain. So it's basically it's not tenderloin. So it's not as tender as a tenderloin. It is very flavorful, and you can grind all of this, but we're going to have to take it off because it's not part of our tenderloin, our filet mignon. So you just do it with your fingers. It's super easy. You can go ahead and just help it out with your knife, just where that thing separates, and you can just take the whole thing off, just like that. This is the chain. And like I said, we can grind it, but for the purpose of our experiment, it's going away. Next, all we're gonna do is take this sinew pieces off. So we're just gonna take them like this and peel them off with our fingers. Most of this can be done like that, and you're just gonna, there's a big chunk of fat here in the crevasse, so we're just gonna go ahead and put all that as waste. Is it waste? Not really. We got stuff we can do with it. Check out other videos and I'll show you how to grind and do all the things you need to do, but for our purposes today, it's gonna be waste. All right, so next we're gonna take off this silver skin. Remember I talked about the evil silver skin on the pre-cut fillets? This is that. So what we're gonna do is take that off. So the way that you do is you take your boning knife and you take this piece right here, and you take a little piece about like 1/2 inch or so, and you're gonna poke it through as lightly as you can, because we just wanna get the silver skin and not the meat. You're then going to cut this way, and that's gonna make a handle. See, I got my handle right here. I'm gonna take my left hand and I'm gonna do reverse pressure. So I'm gonna pull this way, pulling this way, and I'm gonna cut this way. I'm gonna make sure my knife is a little bit slightly angled upward, and it's gonna slide right off. So hold on to the handle, take your knife slightly upward, and come all the way down, and it comes off in one nice little piece, just like that. All right, a little different angle. We're gonna do it again. Go underneath the piece of silver skin, cut out, make a handle. Take your non-dominant hand, reverse pressure. So I'm pulling this way, I'm cutting the other way, and it slide right on down. As long as your knife is super sharp, you should be able to take that off no problem. And we're just gonna continue until all the silver skin has been cut off. All right, next, there is a little bit of silver skin that goes into this V right here, because this is still a good piece of tenderloin, this is a good piece of tenderloin. We can make steaks all the way out of this as long as we take out this piece of silver skin right here. So the way you're gonna do that is this is the trickiest part, I think. So you're gonna take your knife and you're gonna go down and cut on either side, and you're gonna V cut it. So I'm gonna cut it from one side and then the other, and then be able to cut underneath it and pull it out. You're just gonna take the tip of your knife and make tiny little cuts until you can't see that silver skin piece anymore. We'll go to the other side. So here we go, flip it over like that. And you're gonna just do it nice and easy. We don't wanna start jamming it in there, because that's when you're gonna cut out too much valuable meat. Remember, we paid a lot for this, so let's make sure we get all of it. So we're gonna go underneath, and once I've made that V cut like this, I'm then gonna take my knife and go underneath and make kind of like a scooping motion to go underneath the piece of silver skin. This is kind of an extra step, but if you really take the time, take that silver skin out, you're gonna be able to start cutting your steaks right here. And then we get more steaks out of one tenderloin. I've seen other videos where they'll take this whole piece and they'll make something else out of it. They say like make a roast or stir fry. I don't know. Everyone's having some really good stir fry because they're always taking the tenderloin tips and like making it into stir fry. You know, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but we can make good, delicious steaks starting from here. And that's the secret to getting the most out of this tenderloin. Let's take a quick break from the cutting. I wanted to tell you about something that I've been working on. Have you ever wanted to go deeper in the art of meat cutting? You want to learn how to save more money than what we already do on YouTube? Well, I have created the Primal Cuts Club, which is my private members-only community in which we go deeper into meat cutting. I do this in a couple of ways. We have tutorial videos for all the things you've seen me cut on this channel. Tenderloins, ribeyes, chuck rolls, New York strips, top sirloins, everything, like the list goes on and on. But I redid all these videos for a top-down, in-depth tutorial, close up. It's kind of like a culinary school class. I used to teach culinary school, and this is what we do. We have a big mirror up here so people can see what you're doing. It is like hands only, so you can see exactly where every cut is being made. This is how you're gonna get even more of an education on how to save money and doing all these butchery projects. And if you get stuck, I have a live Q&A call 2 times a month. We've done some live cuts also, so people can ask questions while I'm actually cutting. We'll bust out a ribeye, boom, start cutting it, and then that way, if you have questions, I can help you on the spot. I bring you up on the virtual stage. Sometimes it's a social hour, sometimes it is a strict Q&A, and sometimes a little bit of both. So it's really cool experience. Go check out the link in the description so you can join the Primal Cuts Club. I cannot wait to see you in there and get to know you better. And there's just a couple of things we have to take off here, but it's not much at all. So the first thing we're gonna do is there's a little piece of silver skin right here. So we're gonna go ahead and take that off. There's a little fat cap or sinew on top of it, so we're gonna take that off, just like that. So we can find it. See, now you can see that little piece of silver skin right there. We're gonna do our same procedure to take out this silver skin. Then we just kind of take a look at it. There's a little bit of connective tissue right here that we can take out. Because again, you just don't want to be sitting at the table and chewing and chewing and chewing on something that you're not supposed to eat. That's just kind of gristly. Costs too much money for us to have a bad experience. So the last thing to clean it up is we're just gonna take some of this fat off right here. You can keep as much fat as you want on there. You can leave this whole thing on there if you want to. That's what the grocery store does because they want to weigh a little bit more. But I'm gonna take just a little bit of this fat off. I don't know. It's part of that butcher in me where I had to, when you're in a butcher shop and you cut all these steaks, you cut all these tenderloins, you need to make sure they look pretty or no one will ever buy them. So you gotta make it look pretty, but you don't have to take out a lot of it. Just kind of even it a whole thing out. There's also a little muscle right here you can take off or leave on, but it has a lot of fat stuck in there. So you just kind of cut that. I call it the wing, right? That's not really what it's called, but we just kind of slide it on down, and it just makes a prettier looking filet when you cut them. I'll check in between here just to make sure there's usually a big chunk of fat right in there, so we'll just kind of cut that out. Again, you're taking all these steps that the grocer does not take. They just take this whole thing untrimmed and just start cutting like this, and you end up with a lot of stuff that you're not going to eat. So here is our cleaned beef tenderloin. So all I would do is start from here and start cutting steaks. So we can do a couple right now. You're just gonna kind of clean up that end, make that end piece. That's a good usable meat right there. We're gonna square it up so it makes a nice even steak. And you're gonna go I always do a couple of fingers on the thick part, and then we're gonna go a little thicker on this part. So let's go 2 fingers, make a cut straight down, and you have your tenderloin steak right there. You just go through and cut the steaks however thick you want, and you're on your way. Next, this is where rubber hits the road here. We are going to open up the pre-trimmed whole tenderloin from Costco, and we're gonna weigh it to make sure to see if which one saves the most money, the one where you do it yourself or the one where you buy it pre-trimmed. So let's go to that now. The third way that you can buy beef tenderloin at Costco are these pre-trimmed tenderloins. Yes, so that whole process I just did, you don't have to do it. You can buy a pre-trimmed one, get all the benefits of the whole one with the ease of not having to trim it yourself. The price comes in at $31.79 per pound. So a little bit steeper price. We can see that the prices are going up and up depending on the level of service that they're already doing. This is actually a funny story. So this video came about with another video I saw on YouTube. Actually, someone from the comments said I need to check this out. Sam the cooking guy. I hope you go watch his channel. It's an awesome channel. But like, he does cooking videos, and he did a whole filet roast and then broke the whole thing down, broke the whole tenderloin down on his channel. As he was doing it, he came to the realization that he didn't know if it was the better deal to break the whole thing down yourself when Costco has these pre-trimmed tenderloins. So I had questions. I was trying to look at the video. I didn't know if he was doing a prime tenderloin, and I don't know if he was comparing it to a choice pre-cut tenderloin or pre-trimmed tenderloin. So I don't really know if it was apples to apples. So I decided I'm going to do the test for him. Do me a favor, go to the comments of his video, I'll put the link in the description, and say, The Butcher Wizard did the test and we found out the real answer. And I'm kind of excited because I really don't know what the answer is. This is relatively new at my Costco, so I have not even opened up one of these packages. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how much it's been trimmed. We're gonna weigh both the trimmed tenderloin I just did and this one and do the cost analysis and see which one is the best deal in the whole tenderloin world. Whew, we got some work to do. Let's do it. So this is the pre-trimmed whole tenderloin at Costco. It is called extreme peeled. So if you look at it on the label, that's what it says. It's $31.79 per pound at my local Costco. So by far the most expensive of what we've done today. But I don't know, like there's a part of me that I'm pretty impressed. Let's compare it to the tenderloin that I trimmed to see how it stacks up and if they got to all the things that I told you about, all the little like nuances of making sure that this thing is perfectly trimmed. All right, so you can see that the silver skin is gone. So that is an equal. We took off the silver skin here, you took off the silver skin there. Let's turn on the bottom. Let's see what the differences are. So I took a little bit more of the fat off on mine than they did on theirs, but that's not egregious. You can either trim that off or keep it on there. That's fine too. Here's the one I cut off, but let's see, let's put it back together here. There was a little bit of silver skin right here that we took off, and look, they took that one off too over here. So equal, equal. We turn it back over. I did notice one thing. I noticed one thing they didn't do. So they did not take the silver skin out of this little crevice right here. So I went through and we V-cutted this whole thing. They didn't take that out. But again, that's kind of nitpicky because it looks pretty good. So I would go ahead and take my knife and V-cut that out just so I can make steaks out of it, or go ahead and make that beef Wellington, that Chateaubriand, or that roast that you want to do. That's the reason I would buy these whole tenderloins to do that. This pains me to say it, but I'm actually kind of impressed with the one that's already pre-trimmed. It looks really, really good. So it's how I would do it. And I thought when I opened up this package, full transparency, I thought this was gonna be crap. I thought there was gonna be stuff everywhere and it wasn't trimmed well, but this is actually trimmed pretty well. So let's see what the price does. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's gonna happen. I'm super excited. I have not been this excited for a result in a video in a long time. So let's go to it. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Butcher Math, where I attempt to make sense out of all the numbers we crunched today and not embarrass myself with public math. It could go like this, or it could go, well, I don't know how it's gonna go. We'll find out. So this is our two tenderloins. We have one that is the pre-trimmed tenderloin, and we have one that is the untrimmed tenderloin. So let's compare the two. First, we're going to take the pre-trimmed tenderloin from Costco. It is 5.23 pounds for $31.79 per pound, which equals a total of $166.26. Now we go to the tenderloin that I trimmed myself. So it is 5 pounds, 3.5 ounces, which equals 5.22 pounds. That is the usable meat after we trimmed it. So to find our price per pound that accounts for the trim that we had, we're going to go ahead and take the usable meat, which is 5.22 pounds, and we're going to divide it by the total price we paid for the entire tenderloin, $167.34. That is going to come to a price per pound of $32.06. Next, we're just going to compare the two prices. So we're going to take our $32.06 from our untrimmed tenderloin, and we're going to subtract $31.79 per pound from our pre-trimmed tenderloin. And we come out with a difference of 27 cents per pound, with the pre-trimmed tenderloin winning this competition. That's pretty surprising results, I have to say. That's not how I figured it was going to go. The results speak for themselves. You save 27 cents per pound getting the pre-trimmed beef tenderloin. If you use the chain and you use the fat for ground beef, then maybe it's going to swing back over to the you trimming it yourself. But for these prices right now in 2025, right before Thanksgiving, this is what the math is mathing. I'm here just to give you the information. So do with it what you want. I know you're saying, what's next? So in this video over here, I want you to go and learn how to cut a New York strip and save money. Spoiler alert, we saved a ton of money on this New York strip. Or you can, if you want to keep on the tenderloin route, you can go watch this video and I show you how to take down a beef tenderloin from the untrimmed state all the way down to cutting steaks with it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.